Welcome. I'm your host, Dustin.
And I'm your co-host, Dean.
And holy shit, do we have a movie for you guys today?
Oh
Um,
yeah.
this
Hell yeah, baby.
this was one when we had Aaron on a couple months ago. We were talking about Scare Package 2, obviously, and Scare
Mm.
Package 1. And we were able to get a hold of it. And so here we are reviewing it just in time for the release. I think it comes out the 22nd, so this will be out on Monday. So what day is Monday, Dean? That has to
What day is
be
Monday?
what day is Monday?
Monday is
Monday.
Monday. Monday.
Monday is the
Monday.
19th. Okay,
Monday
so
fun day. Oh, what day
Monday
is
fun day.
Monday?
Yeah, so
Monday fun day.
the 19th. So this will be coming out a couple days before. So I just want right here at the beginning of the show, I always like to kind of give a disclaimer that we will be doing spoiler free for probably about the first 10-15 minutes, and then
Uh-huh.
we're going to unleash everything and trying to give everybody a warning. So that way, if you are listening to this and you're going in here expecting spoilers, that won't be until about the 15, 16-minute mark.
You can give a warning. You can give a
Yeah,
warning.
we'll 100% give you a warning.
We'll set
Um,
off a klaxon. We should have a klaxon like a let's
yeah,
like a
I'll have to find something. There's a lot of things that are kind of going on in the background right now for this show that Dean and I are very excited to talk about, but we're not going to be saying too much
oh,
yet.
yeah.
So,
I've got I've got to say, man, I've got to say real quick, I'm so gutted that I wasn't around for the Aaron Kuntz interview. I don't know if I was away, maybe I was on vacation at that time. I can't quite remember. But having now watched this movie,
yeah,
I've got to get back on. I
yeah.
need to speak to the guy, man.
Oh no, trust me, he will be coming back on because I think there was a project that he's doing that I'm very
Yeah.
excited and I want to talk to him about. So no, don't worry. A lot
I
of
want to tell him how much I love this movie, man.
yeah. Let him know. Let him know. I mean,
I will. I'm gonna.
he'll be listening to this for sure, and I'll send it to him and whatnot.
Well,
But yeah, we're talking about Scare Package 2, Rad Chad's Revenge.
yes.
It's a super fun film. Dean, if you want to run through some of the people that are in this movie, and who was a
Yeah, I'm
part of
gonna
it.
read. Yeah, man, I'm gonna read from my IMDb. So it says when horror guru Rad Chad Buckley's funeral turns into an elaborate series of death traps centered around his favorite films, the guests must band together and use the rules of horror to survive the bloody game. As soon as I read that, I was like, "Holy shit, I'm in, man! This sounds
Yes.
great." And it was the gift that just kept giving. It was relentlessly funny. This film, like it was like almost like a kind of indie scary movie,
Yeah.
but it didn't feel indie. It felt like it had some great production values, and it was way funnier than Scary Movie. Honestly, man, I was fucking. It was joke a minute, laugh a minute. I was just cracking up. You know, the acting was great, the script was great, the dialogue was great. Oh, it's
Yeah.
so
It's
good.
a super fun film.
I can't wait to watch it again. Let's have a look at the cast. Should we run through some of the cast?
Yeah, run through some of them. Sure, why not?
Wait, let me just pull this up now. Let me pull this up.
No rush.
Here we go. Right. Top cast. So we've got Jeremy King, who plays Rad Chad Buckley.
Dude, he is so good. He's
Man, he's
so good. The way he acts and how he like emotes himself too is it's so good.
he's a
And
good
he's
looking
doing
guy as well. He's hilarious. Do you know, he reminds me a little bit of Carl Urban. You
okay.
know Carl Urban? Do
Yeah,
you know
I
Carl
yeah,
Urban?
yeah.
No, it's not in just in some facial expressions that he pulls. It's like, oh, there's a bit of a Carl Urban ism about him there. Maybe it's just me. I don't know. I don't know. That's what I don't know. So every now and again, I was like, let's look like Carl Urban. I don't know. That's a compliment, man. That's a compliment.
Hell
You
yeah.
got Zoe Graham, who plays Jessie Kapowski. I really recognized her. What else has she been in? Do you know?
She's the main girl, right? She was in the first
She's the
one, but
main girl. Yeah,
I don't
she's
know
really
of
good.
anything else. Maybe she's in something I've seen. But there's so many movies that I've watched that it's so hard to keep track.
Yeah, I'm gonna take a quick look because she looked really familiar.
There is a familiar face in this film that I'm so happy to see her in something else. and she does such a good fucking job. And her, what she does in her role is so funny. It's
Is
so
that
funny.
Kelly Maroney, right?
Kelly, she's really cool, but Shayna, oh my god, Scruton, or yeah, I think Shayna Scruton. She was in Revealer. She played um Sally. She played Sally. And she was really really good in that.
Oh, okay, yeah. Also, who's the? Now this guy, I really like this guy, Byron Brown, the guy that plays Sam.
Oh
You
yeah,
turn him from the
the
first movie.
yeah, he's an
He's
ass.
he's fucking great, man. He's so funny. The scene in the well, we'll come to it. Like in one of the scenes, the Dream Warriors
Yeah, yeah, that one's so
come to
good.
that. He's hilarious. Barbara Bingham, who plays, I don't know a lot of these actors. You got who we got? Steph Barkley, who plays the Buffy.
Oh, okay.
Luxie Anna plays Ginny. Paul Michael Aird plays, just says here, dead guy. Maria Olsen plays Moira. She's the one standing by the coffin at the beginning. The one with all the bubbles come up on her face when
Yeah.
when she
Okay.
gets
Yeah.
stung by the balloon. This one here. Graham Skipper. Who else we got? Yeah, I think
There's a lot of like really minor roles because these are
yeah,
all
that's what,
essential like short films from other directors. So you got to think of it on the lines of like Masters of Horror or Nightmare Cinema or like
so
Creep Show and stuff like that.
you got Bruce Davis who plays the like the security guard, the or like the security guy.
Oh, dude, that is so funny.
Do you know what? I don't know whether I should say this, but when I first watched it, I was like, "Is that fucking R. Kelly?" He looks a
Oh
bit
no,
like,
dude, I had like response,
he
but I was
really
like, no, it's
resembles
not.
R.
It's
Kelly. I
not.
mean, obviously, it's
I
not
think
R.
it's a
Kelly.
nod. It has to be a nod.
Really, R. Kelly? Yeah, I was like, I mean, clearly it's not because R. Kelly's probably in. Oh, well, I think he is in jail, right?
Yeah, yeah,
But I was
he's
like, R.
locked up.
Kelly. Sorry, Bruce. No, he was great, man. He was great. They were. Do you know what? They were all great. The whole cast was great. I don't know a lot of the people in the cast. I've not seen them in much else, but they were all really, really good actors.
Yeah, sure.
I thought
Does
really good.
IMDb have a rating on there yet? Probably not, right?
It does.
It does. Good.
It does. Hang on. 5.6 out of 10.
That seems pretty low for this though.
It does. Yeah.
But then again, it's not out yet, so maybe not that many people have reviewed it yet.
Yeah.
But this should be. Well, I'm not going to say my rating yet. I'll leave that until the end.
Yeah.
But that seems just a tad bit low.
It
That's like
does to me as well.
slightly above average, which just is more of a slight. It has way more to it than being a slightly above average film, in my
Yeah.
opinion.
There's a lot of layers in this film. I know it's great, man. I loved it. It's so entertaining.
Yeah, it really, really is.
It's so entertaining. It's so funny. It's really well written. It's really well shot. It's got some great production values. It's some of the parodies. It's parody-tastic, and some of the comedy writing and it's comedy timing.
Oh yeah,
5.6. Come on.
yeah. I mean, Aaron and his Paper Street Pictures has just been taking it out of the park lately. I mean, they just had another film come out, Blood Relatives. That's like in that family of his production company. That's on Shudder right now. That's pretty fucking good. It's a vampire flick, but it's really really good. And there's a lot of other things that are coming out. I mean, like we had Revealer this year, which Dean, I fucking love Revealer so much. That movie just
Mm.
kicks ass in so many layers, and I'm so happy a film like that was made.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's a lot of really really cool shit that's coming out, and all of these like smaller studios that are now starting to be way bigger than a lot of these bigger studios.
Yeah.
Because of streaming services, because of like Shudder and Screenbox and
Yeah.
stuff like that. So it's really awesome to see horror just continuing to push through, man.
Flourish.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Blossoming. Even in the snowy winter, horror is
Yes, yes.
a
And
bloom.
this movie is a fucking Christmas gift. Like it really is. For like what is in this, like whew, wow, everybody is in for a real treat. If you are a fan of any kind of 80s horror, this
Yeah.
is it. This movie is 80s horror galore. with all the parodies and stuff that's in it. And
It
and
sure
and
is.
modern, there's some modern nods to it as well, which is really 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 funny. Like the Jigsaw one is so funny.
Oh, dude, it's brilliant, man. We'll come to that.
Yeah.
We'll come to that. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, this film is so good.
I keep going to sort of jump to a part, and I'm like, no, I'm gonna wait.
Yeah. So I
Stop
mean,
my
right now we can kind of give our final thoughts. If you want, Dean, I'll let you kind of summarize your overall feelings. Seeing for the first time, and I'm excited to how you felt
Well,
after
do you know
watching it.
what? I hadn't seen Scare Package 1. Sorry, Aaron, I hadn't seen it, but I knew of it, and I know a lot of people who really enjoyed it. I know, Dustin, you really enjoyed it, you loved it. Some other friends of mine really enjoyed it. I just never got around to watching it. So when I jumped into this one, and I said to you, like, do I have to have seen Scare Package, the first one, to get what's going on in this one? And you said there's a lot of kind of jump back scenes, and
Yeah, there's a
you
lot of
don't really,
filler that gets you kind of up
you
to
don't,
speed.
yeah, you don't really have to. You said you don't really have to, and um, I didn't feel like by the time I watched it, I didn't feel like I didn't feel like I didn't know what was going on, if that
Yeah,
makes sense. Like I got my head around the characters, especially Rad Chad,
yeah.
straight away. Right off the bat, man, it was so funny because it starts. Can we talk about the film? Is this going to be spoiler alert, or
If
should we?
the beginning of the film, no, that's not really spoilers. I
Yeah, no,
mean,
no, so yeah, so it starts. It starts at his funeral, right? And they kind of wheel out the TV, and then he comes up on the screen, and like he's like, you all must be really upset,
yeah.
and then it's made me fucking crack up. He's like, I want to thank Adele.
Oh yeah, yeah,
He
yeah.
goes, we're all rolling in the deep
Yeah,
together.
yeah. It was really
And he's
funny.
like looking over, like thanking her for coming to his funeral, like she's not there. I want to
Yeah.
thank so and so for making this happen. Like he's talking to Adele, like she's
It's so
at his
funny, man.
funeral. Oh man, it literally cracked me up. And then he kind of runs through. He's like, I probably died in this really heroic way.
Yeah,
And then he kind
she
of
keeps fast forwarding through.
runs through this list of all the ways that he might have died, like by a great white shark, like choking on a chicken bone, and then
Yeah,
it's like listing, reeling off all this list of like ways to die, and then the woman standing there, just like fast forwarding it, fast forward, fast forward, fast forward. But yeah, basically, I just got straight away. You kind of know his character and just what he's all about, and yeah, this is gonna be great. My overall feelings, um, I loved it, dude. I reckon this is quite possibly one of my new favorite films of 2022. I've seen a lot of good films this year, but this is a real jam. This is great. I loved
yeah.
it. I
That's
loved it. I could just stick it on. I could watch it because there's so many different things going on. Because you've got it's
yeah,
almost like an anthology in a way, isn't it? Well,
yeah.
I guess
It's essentially is, but the
it's
with
an anthology with a really fucking good wraparound section.
yeah,
That's how I looked at it.
yeah. And
Um,
the first one is exactly like that. It's an anthology thing. It's you're in a video store and people are renting these movies and they're watching it and
yeah,
things are happening, and
right,
then
yeah.
so it everything ties in together and
So many nods to different films, but like the way they do it, like the way
like
they use different masks.
I'm so excited to start talking about the final girl segment because that one cracked me the fuck up,
Yeah,
dude. There's so many good things in that. It's so funny.
the attention to detail of the characters is
Yeah,
brilliant.
like
Like really good.
Aaron, honestly, dude, everybody that you had on your team making this, all the other directors writing these segments for these short films, or not even like short films, just things to add it to the film. And I want more. I want this to be like a series. I want it to be a series of short films in the style of Scare Package, but it not being a Scare Package film. Like make it an actual series. That would be sick. That's like a whole new creep show, man.
Yeah,
No,
it's true. Oh, dude, do you know what? That's true. I didn't even think of it like that. Yeah.
yeah, it's exactly like it's a modern day creep show,
Rad
doing
Chad.
nods.
Yeah, man. Rad Chad needs to have his own show like Joe Bob.
I mean, Joe Bob is his daddy.
Oh, of course, yeah. Jeez, yeah, that's
And
right.
like this makes me want you to
Oh,
go
come on,
watch
yeah.
the first one because there's some really good shit at the end of the first one, man. That
Joe Bob's his daddy. Sorry.
yeah, it's so good, man. But yeah, like my overall feelings is exactly like yours, Dean. I love the first one so much, and when I watched this one, I sent Aaron a personal message letting him know, like, dude, what you have here is something special. And I know you were saying you were afraid a lot of the things weren't going to land, and they landed way more than I think they probably did, and they landed harder than you probably were expecting them to. And things are so funny, so well made.
Yeah.
The effects are great. Yeah, there's some CG in there, but I mean, like it is a
It
low
works
budget
though.
film. No, it's
It
low
works,
budget,
man.
but there's practical mixed in with it. It just amplifies everything so much.
It totally works. It totally adds, to the comedy aspect,
Oh yeah,
like
for
some of the
sure.
CG, But even some of the CG stuff is done pretty well. I've seen way worse. Some
Yeah,
of it
me
I've
too.
seen way, way worse. But the CG, I'd say there's more practical than CG,
Oh yeah,
which I
no,
love.
there's yeah, practical outweighs, but like you when there's CG, you can tell, but it's really just there to
Yeah,
enhance what's
like the
already going on.
chains.
No, so.
Chains scene, when there's the chains, which will again we'll come to that down the line.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Like
yeah. That
the
one's really
chains
good.
run across. You can sort of pick. You can pick. Yeah. Anyway, we'll come to it. We'll come to
Yeah.
it.
So yeah, my overall thoughts is when this drops on Shudder, everybody needs to watch it on release and watch it the next day and the next day, and just keep rolling with it, man.
Do we know if it's coming out in the UK the same time as the US?
Ah,
I,
that's
I
actually a
imagine it
good
probably would.
question. I think usually with it's when it's originals, I think everything lands at the same time. I'm pretty sure because it's a Shudder made thing,
Yeah.
like this
Yeah.
is like their thing. I think so. I can
Yeah. So
ask
they haven't.
Aaron. I can totally ask him and
Yeah.
get that confirmation for you.
But
But
I think
yeah,
you're
I
right
think
because they don't have to worry about all the licensing and all that
yeah,
kind of
yeah,
crap.
yeah.
It's just
I
they
mean,
own it. So they can put it on every single territory. Yeah.
so I think you'll be
Hopefully.
okay. If not, then it would probably be like I don't know a week later. Usually like a week or two later. Shutter's pretty quick, I think, with a lot of their international releases lined up with the U.S. unless there is a license issue. But with their original stuff, I'm pretty sure everything lands same everywhere.
Fingers crossed.
Yeah, fingers crossed.
Don't let us down, Sean. You
Yeah.
see, over in America, there, man, you guys always get the cool shit way before us over
And I
here.
guess that just means you got to move here now, right?
Oh, dude, in a heartbeat, man. In a heartbeat.
Dude, the things we
Yeah.
could do if we were in the same room with each other, man.
Oh man, that sounds wrong.
That's fine with me. I
Hold
love
on,
you,
man.
dude.
No, man. I'd love to get my ass over to the States, man. To just get the the dead stuff over there. Get a podcast rolling.
Hell yeah, brother.
Get a little podcast tour rolling. It will happen. It will happen.
That's the dream right there, man. But got the scare package too. So yeah,
Yes.
overall it's great. So now we can jump into spoilers.
I
Spoilers.
need a klaxon. I need like some sort of kind of instrument. I'm gonna
Yeah.
get something
Oh
like a
man.
kazoo or something.
I have my cotton candy gun over there, but it's like on underneath a bunch
Oh,
of shit.
dude. Wait. Yeah. Hold up. Sorry, everybody. And now we are going to jump into spoiler.
Spoilers. Hell yeah, man. Hell yeah. Well, Dean, since this is your first introduction to the Scare Package, I guess series is what we can call it. I'll let you kick us off and talk about what really, grabbed your attention on this, other than at the whole opening funeral scene. Was there anything else that was like, okay, this I'm hooked already?
Yeah, I think I loved all the nods to all the different films,
Yeah.
and some of them were instant, like and some of them took me a minute to figure out. Okay, oh yeah, that's a parody of this film or that film. But
Yeah,
like for example, the Final Girls, and they're kind
so
of
good.
rattling off the characters,
The
and
STDs.
I know this is I love the way they portray the Final
Sure
Girls.
to die.
Yeah, the Final Girls is just these kind of really nerdy kind of girls, and then you've got the was it Sure to Die girls, and
Yeah,
it kind of like that particular segment opens up, and you see this character from behind, which looks like a kind of Jason Voorhees
yeah.
character. But obviously, like when you see him, he's got some really fucking like cheapo mask on, which obviously is, they can't because of the IPs and stuff like that.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
this is what the so that this is kind of what really caught my attention was the way that there's all these nods to all these different classic films, but they just sort of made the characters their own. So like the Nancy character who just never sleeps.
Oh,
Um,
dude, what she said when they were like naming off what they can do to like fend off the guy. Nancy goes, "I can stay awake for
I can
days."
see, yeah.
Yeah, that's Shayna
And
from Revealer. Oh my god, dude, her lines were just great.
oh, she from Avila, was
Yeah,
she?
she was Sally from Revealer, so she played Nancy.
Gotcha, yeah.
And what
Ellen, it took me a minute to get who Ellen was, and I was like, "Oh,
Ellen
Rip." She's like
Ripley, yeah.
Ripley character. Yeah.
It was just
Um,
every time they formed up and they were like doing their things and Jaina, who was playing Nancy, had the pills and she just chucked it at her mouth and like none of them went in her mouth. I was
yeah.
dying every time
I,
that happened. I was like, this is gold, man.
the bit where the killer comes in and he there's a character called Laurie, and we only kind of see her dead. She's sort of lying on the floor, and the killer sort of stabbed her in the eye,
Yeah.
and Nancy's just like standing over her with a plaster, like
Yeah.
like the plaster's gonna fix the wound. Like,
Yeah.
that cracked me up.
I can stay
Uh,
awake for days.
yeah.
It's so fucking good. Oh man.
Well, so then we meet the character Buffy,
Yeah.
who's kind of the like, the stereotypical kind of cheerleader, hot chick,
Yeah. Buffy the Vampire Slayer.
she's part of the STD girls, which is the sure to die girls, which I thought was great, man.
Yeah, it's so good.
It's the way when it says it at the beginning when they got the character like the killer that's and he's standing outside the two
Yeah, he's like
halls.
picking where he wants to go.
And you've got the little ice cream seller that kind of walks past, and then he's like checking his pocket for change. He's
Yeah.
like, and he's looking where he wants to go, and there's like an arrow that points to one house, Final Girls, and an arrow that points to the other house, Sure to Die Girls, and in brackets, STD.
Yeah, yeah, it's so good. So brilliant. And they
Oh
they
yeah, I love
definitely
it, man.
opened this up with a really, really funny segment. Really funny.
Yeah. Um. Oh yeah. So, and they kind of so they like they switch places with the Sure to Die Girls, don't they?
Yeah, because
So
it's like the 80s moving into the 90s is like the whole
yeah,
thing they were playing on. So like now
yeah.
everything that was like taboo in the 80s is fine in the 90s. That's
That's it.
why.
And that's why when it ends, it's like "Welcome to the '90s, motherfucker." That's how
Yeah,
that segment
yeah,
ends. So really clever. But yeah, the way, one of the girls says, "Since the old rules don't apply, why don't we party like we've never partied before?" So they start like pouring out drinks. So now the final girls are like just cutting loose and getting
yeah.
wild and like pouring out fucking shots with a turkey baster.
Oh
And
yeah.
it's
Oh my god. Yeah, Buffy's like, oh man, I was looking for this other thing, but I found this and like a turkey baster. I don't know.
yeah.
And she just starts drinking. What the hell?
And then they're doing all this kind of really like lame dancing, like they're really kind of rocking out, and just they've just discovered booze and they're just getting wild. That was great, but it just questions all the stereotypes, man. It's so funny. I loved it.
Yeah, it's really really cool and them like taking out their weapons at the end was really funny and like Buffy taking out the killer and then
Yeah,
it's so funny.
Ellen's holding the gun. She's like, "It's really heavy."
Yeah, she's like, "Why? How are you holding that? It is really heavy, yeah."
Yeah, yeah. No, I love that, man. Yeah,
Yeah, it's
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 that.
a great way to
think that's
start the
probably
film.
one of my favorite segments. And do you know what? They were all really good. I thought they were all
They
fantastic.
were
I
all
think that was
different. They were all doing different homages to that certain either era or type of horror movie.
Mm.
It's really really good. And then obviously we have the main show, which is the game show that everybody is a part of, and
Yeah.
they keep getting knocked out with this gas and then waking up. When the final girl ends, it cuts to everybody kind of talking, and then you got to see the guy from one of the segments in the first movie who like melts, like his body melts, and then he has his his bodyguard, and they start like making out, and then he like pukes all over him, and then they melt together, which is really really
Uh,
funny.
that was
Um,
brilliant.
and then we have the chimney sweeper guy who was like, "Oi, I'm gonna take a Brad Pitt."
Yeah,
He's like,
that's
"What
it. It's
the
like a
fuck?"
yeah,
So
yeah,
funny.
he's like a cockney chimney sweep. Isn't he Chad's twin brother or something
Yeah,
like that?
yeah, it's played by the guy who played. God, I think that's his
Yeah.
brother. Yeah, it's really funny. He's always saying
It's
"Oi."
Oi, but it's a Saw parody, isn't it? That whole but it's all part of the wraparound
Yeah,
scene, isn't it? It's a Saw parody, and
yeah,
just the jokes, where they're like, you have to make a choice, live or die, and they're like, well, I choose live.
yeah, yeah, yeah. And
I
everybody's
choose
like
live.
puking
I choose live.
everywhere. It's crazy, man.
He said we can make a choice, right? I choose live.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Like the heavier set guy, he's really really funny. Like every
Yeah, but
time, he's always questioning things.
I mean, you
Funny.
always see a character like him in a Saw movie as well. Like the
Yeah,
kind of,
yeah,
just sort of like overweight, kind of scruffy, kind of just really obnoxious
yeah.
fucking.
And
You
I
know.
think the first test they have to do is the beer pong, which is really funny, and
Yes.
the music that's kicked in with that is so good, dude.
Yeah.
It's so catchy, and so it's retro but new at the same time. It has such a cool feel to it.
Yeah, yeah,
Um,
yeah. And they got this kind of cabin in the woods, like style force field that comes up.
yeah, yeah. Yeah, and the heavier set guy, he's like, oh, I used to play beer pong with Rad Chad, or whatever, like back in the day. So like I can do this, and he keeps like nailing all the things, and the force field's opening up more and more, and then like because the antidote is in the beer pong things that he puts the things in. They all get old.
Oh no, he said that's right. He says I've put there's a poison coursing through your
Yeah,
veins or through
yeah.
your
So they had to
body, and
take the antidote.
that's right. Yeah, that's it. And then that's why they have to. That's why they start um, barfing up all the
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
green acid and stuff.
yeah.
Fucking
Can
brilliant.
you imagine that barfing up acid? Oh
Dude, I
man.
do it all the time, man.
Oh my God,
Not quite to
Dean.
that extent, but that's why I'm on omeprazole tablets for severe acid reflux.
Uh,
All the hot food and beer over the years, man. I'm, just only a couple of steps behind those guys.
Yeah, yeah,
Do you
yeah,
know this is
yeah,
a fact? This is a fact. Well, apparently this is a fact. I've never done this before, but apparently if you, and I don't know if this is bullshit or not, but apparently if you burp up or sick up or cough up or whatever, pure acid from your stomach, and you spit it into a book and you shut the book and then you open it up like in the morning, apparently it'll burn a fucking hole through it.
What?
I don't
I kind of want to try that.
I've tried, you
I
know
can
what?
be an alien.
I heard that at school and I've tried it a few times. It's never happened. So maybe
Oh
it's just
man,
one.
maybe it's not strong enough. Go have some more hot stuff and then get back to me.
Right on, man. Say no more.
So yeah, we get the antidote scene. And then we go to the next segment, which is final kill part
It's
2.
called The Night He Came Back Again.
Yeah,
Yeah, so the first segment was called "Welcome to the '90s,"
yeah,
and then this one's called "The Night He Came Back Again."
yeah,
And I
and
was a bit confused because it's like a bit of a nod to so many different.
yeah, that one is actually a returning segment from the first movie.
Right. Okay. Cool. Yeah.
So
Gotcha.
that one's really really well done too, and it's you think it'd be over the top, but it's not really.
Yeah.
But it's just really funny with how it happens, and then like you kind of know the story from the first movie if you've seen it. It's the girl who is now with her, I think her husband, like 20 years later, but she's having these dreams,
Yeah.
and she dreams of like her father being there, or no, her doctor. It was her doctor, right? think it was her
The guy with
doctor.
the, like, the tracheotomy. What they call it? A tracheotomy? Is that a little thing that he puts on his?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah,
That's
so
hilarious, man. That was so funny. Every time
yeah.
he moves it, his voice keeps going.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So
Oh my god, that
so,
animated
uh,
stitches, dude.
he has that dream, and then, I think she's in the car, and then she tells, like, her partner, like, "Oh, I have to go back. I gotta go and do this." And he's like, "Nah, no, that's, like, in the past. Like, you always have these things around this time, around the 4th of July." So they go back, and then, yeah, the dude's back, and then she realizes that it's now her brother, and then you get flashbacks from what happened in the first movie, from the first part of her, I think, killing the other kid who was not her boyfriend at the time, but obviously liked her. And it's a really funny segment because of everything that happens. And
Yeah.
then you have, like, the whole melting at the end of them dying and then being morphed together, which is really really funny looking.
And then there's all the fireworks coming out the grave at the end of that scene. Oh, that's great. I love that. You see, you don't
Yeah,
that's the thing you don't see that often is fireworks coming out of a grave. I was like, that's cool. I like
yeah,
that.
yeah. It's really funny, and it's so weird seeing another, like, horror, anything tied in with 4th of July. Because I think the last movie I saw was Uncle Sam, which was, like, the made by the same people did, like, Maniac Cop and stuff. Like, that was, like, the only other 4th of July movie I can really think of, other than, like, Jaws. But yeah, it's really cool to see these mini segments taking on niche ideas as well.
Mhm.
Um, and then we get through that, and then they wake up for, I think it's the next test, but I don't remember what
I
the
just want to go back.
hell.
I just want to just go back to that other one real quick. Like, I love the way it opens up with beloved brother slash psycho killer
Oh
on
yeah,
his
yeah,
on his headstone, and he's always got all the dates and like all the dates
yeah,
are
yeah,
crossed out.
yeah.
It's like,
Yeah, on the
I was like,
tombstone. Yeah.
yeah, man, that cracked me up. But there was so many. I don't know. Like there was. I don't know if it was just me or whether it was intentional, but there. Initially, the two characters reminded me of the brother sister from Jeepers Creepers when they were in the car driving. But then I realized that they were husband and wife in this one. So,
No, I kind of got a little bit of a vibe from that too. So, like, it's
and
possible
like,
that it could have been a nod. I mean, because there's
and
so
also, you know,
much.
the way he comes back, like, and then she says something like every 20 years or something like that, and that's similar to the Creeper.
Yeah.
And then the you know, the bit where she's kind of, I can't remember exactly what happens to her, but she's kind of hits the floor and she stands up and her head's kind of all spun around the other
Oh
way.
yeah, that's really funny. That's good
So that kind
effects
of
too.
reminded me of Evil Dead. That was a bit like the Evil Dead Deadite kind of scene.
And they had, like, a ghost face, I think,
That's what I
little
was gonna say,
parody
yeah,
in
the
there
killer
too.
from Scream was like a kinda knockoff Scream mask. The brother-sister thing is Halloween.
Yep. Yeah. This so much, dude.
Do you know what I mean? There was so many different little nods to films, but, like, it was their own version of it, and it was so funny. And the guy, I don't know who he played, you know, the older guy that had the thingy on his neck,
Yeah.
like, do they call that a tracheotomy? Is that what they call a tracheotomy?
Yeah. I think you're right on that
When
one.
they have
Yeah.
a I think that's what they called them. I could be wrong. But yeah, he holds that device to his neck and it helps him talk. And every time he moves it, his voice goes really high pitched.
Yeah. Yeah.
He's lying on the floor and he hasn't got it in his hand and he's talking to her and his his voice is really high pitched. Oh my god, I was literally dying, man. It's so funny. Shit like that cracks me up.
No, I'm right there
Um,
with you. That segment was really really
I
funny.
probably
But,
shouldn't laugh at stuff like that.
well, I mean, it's in there for the joke, so I mean, you're
Yeah,
rightful to laugh
it
at it.
was it was really funny. But yeah, then it goes to, yeah, you say the next segment of the wraparound scene, and I think it's like a jigsaw
Oh, it's the
parody.
B segment, right? It's when they have the fucking,
Yeah,
like, nests.
and you see, oh, that's it, and you see the little puppet version of Billy the Puppet from Sword, version of
Yeah, yeah,
Chad kind of cycling on his bike.
yeah, yeah. The bees are real.
And then we see Sam. Yeah, that's right. Then we see Sam, who was his friend from the first Scare Package. Because I mean, even though I said earlier on I haven't seen Scare Package, I did stick it on before this review so I could just get a bit of the flavor from the first one,
Yeah,
and I recognized the character Sam. So I realized that him and Chad were friends. Yada yada yada. But yeah, so Sam in this one, yeah, so he's turns out that he's like the kind of John Kramer
Yeah.
kind of figure, isn't he?
Yeah.
And he's like, none of you appreciated Rad. None of you appreciated Rad Chad's Horror Emporium, is what
Such
he
a
says.
badass name. Or important.
Yeah, Rad Chad, yeah. Um, and once again, you failed to take horror seriously. You called horror a B movie. The real horror is 10,000 bees put inside of you.
Yeah, like I'm just thinking of the logistics. Like, how the hell did he do that? you know, like,
Oh my god! And then they've got these really shitty like beekeeper masks on, like all these kind of rickety old like
yeah, yeah.
nets around their head.
And one of the guys is like, "Oh, I figured it out. If you just keep dancing, they won't
Yeah,
bother me."
that's it. Bees make. Oh, what is it? What's the saying? Oh, what is it? There's a saying. I don't know what it is. A bees. Oh, I don't know. There's like a saying, and he goes, "How
Yeah,
do
yeah.
they
He
get
said,
them?"
he said
I can't
something.
remember. Okay, anyone listening into this will be like, "What the hell is going on in this movie?" Like, we need to watch this movie so we know what these guys are talking about.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Honestly, it is as batshit as it sounds, but it's fucking brilliant. I love it.
Yeah, the pacing of this movie is really good too. You would think from bouncing from this game show type thing to these offshoot like mini movies would kind of throw things off, but no, the flow is great.
It really is, yeah, yeah, and it's like just it's so silly as well, but it's like funny silly, you know. It's not cringe silly, it's funny silly. Yeah, they're looking for the key for the masks, and then it was on. I think he says something like X marks the spot,
Yeah, and all she
and
did
it's
was
like,
walk over to the X and grab
and
it.
there's an X on the wall with the keys just hanging up, you know.
Yeah, it's like what the hell? And the chimney sweep guy, I think he dies from all the bees too. And it's just like, well, you could have just walked over here and grabbed your key if you wanted.
Yeah. And then the next task, and they've just got a load of spoons full of cinnamon lining them up.
yeah, yeah,
I'm like, oh man, this is brilliant.
yeah. And then Kelly,
I've chosen the bees. I
yeah,
don't want to do this.
yeah, the Kelly Maroney character mom, she's like, oh, I use cinnamon to kill bees all the time, in like my garden and everything, so it's like completely fine. And then
Oh,
they
brilliant.
take the cinnamon, and then they even like talk about like, oh man, have you seen like the cinnamon challenge online?
I love how they included that. That's so funny. The cinnamon challenge.
Never done it.
And then so then we got the third segment, which is called Special Edition. And
This
it
is
kind of
like
kicks off.
the laser disc one, right, or whatever it is, like the
Yeah,
video
man.
one.
Was it like I couldn't work out with all the characters, the English girls, if it was they really reminded me of the characters from the film Host, but
Yeah,
obviously in
I mean
Host.
it's made by Judge Shepard, so and he
Oh, it
was
is.
yeah, that's his
Ah,
segment.
gotcha. Right. Okay. Right. Man, you learn something new every podcast episode. Yeah, I did not know that. Okay.
Yeah,
Well, that makes sense. Maybe
yeah,
they were some of the girls from Host. I don't know. But yeah, they talk about the three men and a baby ghost.
yeah. It's like this was like this might be like the one segment that kind of lost me just a little bit
Yeah,
because I
I
feel
agree.
like it was being a little too ambitious. I think for some of the things. So if I have like a critique on this, it would be this segment. Even though it's good, it's shot really well. It's got
Yeah.
some interesting aspects to it, like rewinding and fast forwarding while watching this tape that like controls reality. And if you die, you get trapped into this. I think it's a laser disc. There was a huge disc that was in it, and they put it into the TV. I'm like, it couldn't have been a CD. It had to be like a laser disc or something.
Mm.
Um, but like, yeah, it just lost me a little bit because I was like, maybe it's because I wasn't really connecting as to what films it was trying
No,
to
exactly, dude. This
rip
is actually
off.
I've got the least written down for this segment, and that same not because I didn't enjoy it, just because of the same. I was trying to kind of figure out
Yeah,
what I was connecting to.
yeah. I mean, it's shot beautifully, and like a lot of the scenes were really, really cool, and the acting was great. And
Yeah,
the like the creature in it, I thought looked really, really cool.
yeah,
And all the friends kind of being absorbed into this disc, where it's like one of the girls goes to a lighthouse where her brother was, and they find this stuff, and her brother told her to take care of this certain thing, and instead of like just like leaving it be, they're like, oh, let's just pop it in, and they look at it, and it's just a still image of this figure, and they're like, what is, like, they were trying to like describe what he is. It's like, oh, what does he have something on his hands? What's going on here? And then one of the girls, when she goes to bed, she realizes that's the same window that was in that video. So she goes and
Mm,
like opens up the thing, and she goes back to bed, and her friend dead.
mm,
Then it's the creature thing, and they all get like absorbed. It's a really cool segment. It really
yeah.
like a supernatural, I guess, spin on everything else. It was a bit of a break from like the uh, it was like everything else is very fast paced, but this one's a little bit
Yeah.
slower. So that's like the only critique I can say is that it kind of slowed things down a little bit,
Felt a
but it
little
was
bit
still
more
fun.
serious. It felt just a little bit more on a not serious, but it just felt like less kind of less of the comedy. Is more kind of just like it could have been a really kind of good creep show story,
Yeah,
creep
exactly,
show series, I think
exactly.
something like
Yeah.
that. I think this next scene then it jumps back after. So that yeah, that segment was called Special Edition. That's the third kind of story. Then it hops back to the wraparound scene again, which I think is probably my favorite bit because it parodies one of my favorite scenes
There's so
from
much in this one too.
a
Like
horror movie. Yeah, yeah,
they just load
yeah.
everything in there, and it all flows so well.
Yeah, so it hops back so they're still obviously still playing the games and whatnot. And Sam, Radchad's friend, is now Freddy Krueger circa Dream Warriors.
Yeah, yeah.
In the
He's like,
welcome to
no.
primetime bitch scene.
Yeah, he's like, oh my neck. And then the little jigsaw guy, he doesn't want to do anything. He just wants to go. He's like, can I leave now? Can I go? He's like, no, you can't leave. You're not done yet.
My little jigsaw guy cracks me up, man. He's so funny. He's so creepy as well. He's really funny. But yeah, yeah. Oh my neck. But he's just such an arsehole, isn't he? Like he's just, you're gonna die.
Yeah.
You don't think, nah, just hates everyone.
And
And I
then
know
the
Billy the
found
Puppet
footage
kicks in
segment
there.
that happens too with the mom character, like how they kind of play on that one too. How have to go
Yeah, is that
find
a
a
bit like
key.
that's right. And then so because then there's also so he also parodies Hellraiser,
Yeah,
Pinhead.
during
We have
all of
some
this, yeah, there's a
we
lot that
have
goes on.
during this as well. So you've got the Dream Warriors thing with Fred with the Welcome to Primetime bitch kind of like parody, and then but he's saying stuff like we have such sights to show you,
Yeah,
and then there's all these chains flying across the fucking room. These are one of the CG things we were talking about earlier on. You see all these chains flying around, and then it rips off the guy. I can't remember his name. We were talking about him earlier on. The kind of chubby guy with the
dude, it's so funny because
rips all his skin off so he looks like Frank
but
in
he's fine. Like he
Hellraiser.
still walks around
He's just
completely
he's like
fine. He's just
normal.
like this sucks.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Oh my.
Um, And then with the mum, when she's in that, and she's kind of in that. I don't know, is it like Wreck? The film
Yeah,
Wreck or
that's what I
Chronic?
think they were trying to go after, a
That's
wreck
what I
type
was wondering
thing.
what it was. Yeah, and especially at the end where she kind of just gets dragged off. It's
Yeah,
like Wreck, but yeah, I loved it.
and she gets her head shot off or something, right? Uh, I think she comes back and then like she like gets decapitated.
I can't remember.
I
I
think
need to
that's what
watch it again.
happens. Yeah, we'll have to watch it again. And everybody
Oh
watching,
yeah.
listening,
Oh
you'll
yeah.
know.
I'm probably going to watch it again after this. Actually, we're all this talking about it. I want to go back and watch it again.
I honestly think the next segment that they do, like I love the Final Girl one. That one's really good. But I think this might be a contender for my favorite because of
All right.
all the Stephen King parodies that are in this, plus like Reanimator, and just
Yeah.
how well it is. And it's got Stand By Me in it. It's
Well, I think
really good.
I wasn't sure. So this one's called We're So Dead. And I wasn't sure if it was the losers club or the
No,
kids
it
from
is. It's
Stand By
part of
Me.
that. It's Losers with Stand By Me, with Pet
Right.
Cemetery, with
Yeah, right. Okay.
Reanimator.
Yeah.
Got so much stuff, man. It's really good. Um,
Reanimate. Yeah, definitely Reanimate was great, especially with the fish tank in the head, the head in the fish tank, or the head in the bowl where he's kind of moving around talking.
yeah. So like the segment starts with this guy typing up like his childhood, and we don't really see too much
Yeah.
of anything that happens, and then it cuts to them being a kid, and they find this dead homeless guy, or we yeah I think he is dead because it's the Stand By Me parody,
Yeah.
so it has to be. So they bring him back, and then they have like the reanimator serum somehow in one of the kids' basement, and there's like a bunch of like laboratory stuff. But it's funny because the mom comes down and you just see her
You only
feet.
ever see her feet. Yeah.
You only see her feet, and then she's like, "Oh, okay. Well,
What
I'm
a
gonna go
noise down
upstairs
here.
and close the door, so for no reason at all, you know."
Keep it down there, you know,
Yeah,
what's all the noise? And then even when the dead body comes back to life, he's like, "Okay, Mrs." Oh, no, okay, Sam's mum or whatever his name
yeah,
is.
yeah. So they bring the guy back, but they kill him, and then they bring it back again. It's really really funny. Oh
Yeah,
man, and it's all telling the story of one of the other kids that who dies during all this. It's just it's really
yeah,
funny. Oh, and they also do like a fly parody too, because they have like
yeah.
the transporter tubes.
Capsule thing, yeah, yeah,
So
yeah.
they're like, what the hell is going on in this segment?
The little chubby kid as well, he really looks like the little chubby kid from the new It, like, in the
Yeah, yeah,
look like the same actor, the one that played Ben Hanscom, was his name? Ben?
yeah,
But yeah, yeah, guy really looked like the actor. And the guy that's writing the story, I guess he's supposed to be like the Bill character from It, because he's the novelist, isn't he?
yeah. I think so. I think that's like the other nod that was going on there.
The other nod. And then he says this line at the end, and I thought it was so true, man. And it's like he writes, "I never had friends like the ones I did when I was 12." It's like, shit, does
Yeah,
anyone?
it's true, man.
And I was just like, that's so true, isn't it? Such a poignant line that I really like that. But yeah, again, just so many nods to so many different awesome horrors.
Yeah. And that's what leads to the next segment too. Is like, okay, so this is over now. If you want to live, you have to go find all the movies that were parodies in this short film.
Yes. Yes.
So they're in like a movie store now, and they all have to go and find something that
Yeah.
and you have to go rewind the tape. Be kind, rewind,
Yeah,
um,
that's it.
and then the killer from the first movie back.
Yeah.
It's so good, dude. It's so good.
And that's kind of oh no, that's not the end, is it?
No, no,
Because
there's still a lot more that happens. Like there's a plot twist and everything that happens. There's a
I'll let you
lot.
talk about that, man. I'll let you talk about that.
Yeah, so like we have some characters that die. We have the one guy in the very beginning who got puked on his arm and he like lost one of his hands.
Yeah.
Everybody finds their tape and they essentially live and
It
um
was reanimator.
yeah. So we have that one and I think he get like hammered to death or something like that, or I don't even remember if we even see him get killed.
Can't remember.
Um But anyway, they have that, and then they have to, you know, they have I think it's like a minute and 90 seconds, so it's a minute and a half, and it's funny because the main girl when they're finding all these tapes, like the time is going, and she's like, "Wow, that clock is really wrong," because it keeps cutting back to it was like 35, it's at 30 when it's been like 2 minutes. You're like that clock
Yeah.
is really wrong.
Yeah.
So and you realize that in so many movies, and it's like, wow,
Yeah,
man,
yeah,
why
yeah.
is that clock not ran out yet? And then we have another parody that is mixed with one of the kills from Friday the 13th part 3 or 4 with the guy who was in the wheelchair with the red jersey when Sam gets killed, and then he falls down the stairs from
Yeah. Yeah.
The Exorcist, and I think one of the guys is like, "Wow, those stairs look really familiar."
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So we
Yeah.
have that happens,
Yeah.
and then we have another plot twist that Rad Chad not dead
One, yeah.
was essentially faking it
Coffin flings open. There he
all
is.
along. Yeah, it's really really good, and then they go back and show him get killed because the main girl's like, "Well, I saw you get killed. Your face got punched in." He was like, "Oh, did I really?" And it's just him holding up like a puppet. with, with the guy like punching through. So like everybody was a team, like him and the main like killer dude at the end. They were all friends and whatnot, and then we see um the old characters from the first movie. They leave and they're like in a car, and then
Yeah.
there's some nods back to Joe Bob because he's like Daddy, and or no Papa, Papa, and like then he calls Joe Bob, and then Joe Bob I think he answers, hangs up. So you get like a little bit of a taste of like there's a third one coming, guys.
Yeah.
There's a lot of really
It's such a good film, though. I know that review, like, for people that haven't seen it yet.
yeah. It's a little all over the place because that's what the movie is.
Yeah. Because it is, yeah, and it's an anthology film, so there's a lot of different things to talk about. It's not just one story, there's loads of different stories going on. But it's just so much fun. It's so much fun. And, as a recap, it's just really well shot, some great production values. It's really, really relentlessly funny.
Yeah.
It's well acted. There's some great characters. I loved it, man. I really, really enjoyed it. Great
I'm
film.
glad that you did, man, and I'm glad that you want to go watch the first one now.
Oh
And
yeah, well, I started the first one on before we did this, and I got halfway through it, and I was just like, oh damn, this is great as well, So I'm definitely into the scare package universe now, and I know the first one's been out for a while,
yeah,
but I'm a late to the party kind of guy, man. I always am. I always let the hype die down on films, and then I go, gravitate towards them. But obviously now we're doing more reviews. I'm gonna have to be watching stuff, before it's
yeah.
released, which is great.
But I mean, that's the beauty
You've
of
got
it
streamers
because
coming.
like when you think about it, like years ago, how movies have so many sequels. Do you always watch the first one? The first time you hear of a franchise, you always like, yeah, I watched the first Friday the 13th. No, it's usually like, yeah, I saw Friday the 13th Part 5. Then I
Yeah,
rewatched all the other ones. So it's kind of the same thing with Scare Package, you know?
yeah,
Like I'm
yeah,
sure this is going to be the first for a lot of people that didn't see the first one. Um,
yeah, yeah. Oh yeah, yeah,
and
yeah,
I'm
definitely. And then
I'm excited.
the first thing one thing that I noticed when I put the first one on is just how much how better made this second one is. Like just the production values on it just seem
Yeah,
way
they
more.
they they upped it, man, for
Bit
sure.
of money, bit of money thrown into it, definitely. But yeah, it's great. Really, really entertaining all the way through.
And like I love a movie that can make me laugh. And honestly,
Yeah,
there's not that many that have been doing that lately. This one, I was in tears for the first like 30 minutes. I was like, this is just as soon as the Final Girls thing started happening, I was just like, this is so freaking funny, man. I like
yeah,
what they're doing right here. I am all in. I just keep going back to them like lining all up, and she's throwing the pills at her mouth, and they all miss, and they do it like multiple times. And it's
yeah,
just really funny.
definitely,
Um,
man. You know what? If Mr. Aaron Kuntz, if you're listening, and you ever want to use the tagline, you can the Baron's you can say the Baron's Hideout podcast said this is scary movie on acid.
yeah, honestly, it really.
Scare
I'm going to
Package
send
2,
that to him.
scary movie on acid, man. It reminded me of Scary Movie, like just the whole parodies and stuff like that. But it literally was just
It's a way much more. It's like a more composed and more thought out scary movie for sure, for
yeah,
sure. For
a bit of Melancholy.
fans, it's like made by the fans for the fans type thing.
Yeah,
With
for sure.
scary movie, they were really trying to, I think, just go on the trends. But this one, like, there's a lot of love in this, and I love seeing that in films of people
Yeah,
putting all of their selves into something. And after talking to Aaron and like realizing his vision on a lot of things is that he is trying to put out like the best that he possibly can, and trying to get good stories and bring new things to the table. And this is an example of things to come, and I'm all for it, man.
yeah, me too.
Yeah, scary movie on acid. That's great, man. It
Maybe not
really is.
acid. Maybe I don't know. Scary Movie was for the stoners. I don't know. Maybe it's not quite psychedelic enough for acid. Maybe Scary Movie on Molly or something. I don't know.
Scary movie on caffeine.
Yeah, maybe that's more. Maybe that. Yeah, do you know what? Maybe that's you can print that.
Yeah, yeah.
I don't.
Scary movie on caffeine.
Yeah, maybe we went caffeine
Scary
or
movie on
after.
Dean of the Dead hot sauce.
Holy shit! Imagine that.
And anything is possible, you know.
Imagine that, man. Oh yeah, but yeah, no, it's yeah, it's. I mean, it's not scary, but it's his complete own thing.
Oh yeah, yeah.
This is
It's
it's
just a
the
good
like,
way of getting people to realize like what you're kind of getting yourself into when you
yeah,
watch it.
exactly. Yeah, it is. Yeah, it to be. Yeah, exactly, man. You know, we don't like to pigeonhole everything, but everything's you know, everything draws influences from other things, and you know, people are into the scary movies,
Yeah,
which they were huge hits. You know, so you know, anyone that was into those kind of films would
yeah,
love
for sure.
these, love this. You know, and there was a huge audience for the scary movie films. So I feel like you know, there should be a huge audience for these too.
Oh hell yeah, and it's on Shudder. So I mean, if you don't have Shudder, fucking get it. Right now, they need all the support they can get. They really, really do. With a lot of the things that are going on over there and the corporate overlords. So
I look forward
any
to seeing some other reviews for this as well. I look forward to seeing what other people.
Oh, me too, for sure. And oh, man, I just can't wait to read the reviews and see reactions when it lands. You know, I always like to kind of do
Yeah,
that is go on Shudder and just read some of the reviews or go on
yeah,
YouTube and see people put what people are putting out.
yeah.
And I'm excited for this one, man. So
People are
I
gonna love it,
think
man. People are gonna love it. I'm confident this people are gonna love this one.
oh, for sure. But I think on that note, Dean, let's jump into our final verdicts.
Yeah.
I'll let you kind of start it off. What would you rate this out of 10?
Oh man. I'm just gonna go in at a straight 10 out of 10. You know, I'm not I'm not what can I say? There's nothing about it that it was really well paced. It was hilarious all the way through. It was really entertaining. All of the stories were great, apart from there was the one that we mentioned, which was the special edition story, which was still fantastic.
Yeah,
But it was just felt a little tiny bit out of place. Maybe I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. It was the one that I kind of made the least notes about because I was just a little bit confused.
yeah,
But
same.
it was still fantastic. It was still great. It was really good. I think it like I mentioned, it would be great as a creep show segment. I think that you know, creep show is fantastic. So it's I think it's one of my new favorite films of 2022. I can't wait to watch it again. I can't wait to show it to other people. I can't say anything bad about it. And in fact, I know it's like an independent film as well. And you know, just I really literally there's nothing bad I can say about it. I don't know why I would give it any less than a 10 out of 10, to be honest,
Yeah,
because it's like every single part of the film was fucking entertaining. Like there was nothing that wasn't entertaining at all.
yeah,
And you know, it hit every single spot for me. You know, with the humor, with the horror, with the gore and the blood and the schlocky kind of parody. Yeah, it's just great. I loved it, man. 10 out of 10, all the way. 11 out of fucking 10. Why not? Come on.
all right.
Let's turn it up to 11, Spinal Tap style. Um,
I think I'm just gonna knock a couple points off just for the special edition for me. So I'm not gonna go low for like 9.5. I'm gonna go like a 9.8 out of 10 for me.
mm,
Just it did take me out a little bit, but
mm,
like you were saying, like it's an independent film, a lot of heart that went. It's a
mm,
really really great segment, but it felt like it may have been in the wrong spot. But that's like really the only critique I have for this is just that segment, and I don't want anybody to think that I don't like the segment. I love the segment; it was great.
mm,
It's just I felt like with all the other segments that were in there, it was like the least fast paced and like really like easy to digest and figure out what it
mm.
was, you know.
Yeah,
So
I agree.
I'm gonna take a couple points off for that. So 9.8 out of 10 for me.
Mm.
But still highly fucking recommend this movie. Everybody needs to see this.
11
Um,
out of 10.
let let Aaron know on socials that you love this film when it drops. Like, give him some love because I know that when I was talking to him, even like off the record, that he was a little worried that because the first one had so much success, you kind of get that with a sequel that you think that a lot of your audience is gonna drop off and be like, oh, none of this landed, but like almost all of this movie landed really, really hard and was really funny, was really well made. Acting was great, the writing was amazing, the effects were spot on, and even the sets were really, really cool where they were
Yeah,
throughout the
yeah,
whole movie.
yeah.
And the plot twist at the end and the teasing of a third one coming, like, I mean, come on. What
And the whole involvement of Joe Bob, man. I love Joe Bob. That fuck it, 12 out of 10. Come on.
Yeah. It's a great film, so I want everybody to watch this. And if you haven't seen the first one, maybe I would even say watch this one and then watch the first one if you really want. Or if you're
Yeah,
someone who likes to go in the order, then go one and two. But I mean, this one fills you in enough to know what
I agree.
happened in the first one.
Yeah,
Especially at the end, they like tell you what happened at the end of the first one, and kind of just carry on with that and give you even more. Oh, it's a great, great film. Aaron, you and Paper Street Pictures, man, you're doing it. You're doing it right. You really are. I'm so excited to see all these other projects that are coming out from your production company and anything else that you're doing writing wise and all the other directors and writers and actors that are in these films. I want to see more of their projects. This was, and I really do have to thank everybody involved that helped us get the screener because
yeah,
damn, I'm happy I saw this before it was released. You have to say
yeah,
that.
yeah. I've got a couple of jealous people that are like, "Oh, you watched Scare Package 2? I can't wait to see that."
Yeah.
I'm like, "Yeah, it's good.
Yeah, it's really, really good.
It's
So,
good. You're
and
gonna love
as
it."
always, Dean, I thank you so much for everything that you do. I know I do it like every episode. I'm always thanking you.
And 13 out of 10. Come on.
Yeah. It's just, man, I feel like
Yeah.
you've breathed a new life into the show and really helped push it, and everything we got going on in the background right now for next year for the show. I'm so excited. And
We've got some exciting stuff coming out,
yeah,
man. It's gonna be great. We're going pro, dude. We're up in the gap. I mean, I'm still, Aaron, not your old co-host,
yeah,
Aaron, the other Aaron. Still kind of. I just sort of jumped in, keeping his seat warm for a bit. But it's kind of I'm kind of here to stay now, unless Aaron ever wants to come back, man. And there's the three amigos, but I'm loving it, man. I'm loving being here. I'm loving just discussing these movies and getting to see a lot of these films before they come out and chatting to all the guests. And it's just great, man. Horror is my happy place, and
same.
this is it's great. I always come away from these reviews and these interviews and everything, just like, oh man, that's what it's all about. It's
Yeah,
just two horror nerds chatting about horror. Like we go on and on and on and on all fucking day. But yeah, man, I love it. And yeah, we got a lot of really cool stuff coming up. We're doing a whole kind of rebrand for the new year. Working with the awesome artist Jason Miller, man. He's our brother.
yes,
We love
check
him
him out.
so much. Jason rocks. He's gonna be huge one day.
Oh yeah,
Definitely. And yeah, he's helping us with all the rebrands, and we've got some really cool images coming out. It's gonna 14 out of 10, man. Come on. It's gonna just keep notching us up, notching us up, notching us up. But yeah, man, it's great.
yeah,
We're rocking and rolling, man.
yeah. The show is obviously wouldn't be anything without our listeners and watchers and supporters. So
Tell your friends, tell
you
your
know,
friends.
yeah, and without you guys, we wouldn't be able to get these screeners and talk to all these people that we talk to and give all this really cool insightful information and content for everybody. So I mean, I want everybody to give the same love that you give us to all these movies and other podcasts and just creative individuals because there's a lot of people out there, and I understand it's really hard to dedicate time to one specific person or multiple people because there's so much stuff out there. But for the ones that do choose to listen to us, I thank you. And everybody who listens to the show and comes on the show, they thank you. And I promise you, next year is going to be it's going to be crazy. Everybody, it's going to be absolutely crazy. So
Gonna
yeah,
be 15 out of 10, man. Come on.
yeah. You
15
know
out
what,
of
Dean? Fine, I'll give it a 10 out of 10.
10.
Yeah.
You
That's
know what,
great.
man? That's it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So there's a lot
it
of
is.
there's a lot of really really cool things on the horizon,
Yeah.
outside of rebranding and whatnot. There's a lot of other things that Dean and I are talking about in the background that will be coming, to fruition and out there for everybody else very soon. So that's why everybody to keep an eye out, listen, support us. I never ask anybody to have to give us money for anything, but if you want to, Patreon's there to get early access on everything. And also on Anchor, you can do a monthly subscription of getting videos on there or wherever you want to do. Anything
Yeah.
helps.
Do you know what? Any suggestions as well? Like any guests that you'd like to hear being interviewed? Or I mean,
Yeah,
obviously we got a fucking laundry list of people that we want to talk to. It's just who's willing to show up.
yeah,
But any movies that you might want to hear a review of, or if anyone wants to jump in on a review, shoot us a DM, man.
yeah.
Get in contact and yeah, man, reach out.
I feel
Reach on
like
out.
we've been really lucky with a lot of these interviews, though. No one said no yet. you know,
It's true. It's
knock on
true. It's
wood.
true. Well, there's a few that I've kind of reached out to that haven't said anything. I mean, technically, that's not a no.
Yeah. We're
They
still.
just haven't said anything. If they
Oh,
get back with a no,
it's really
I'm
funny
actually,
too.
I think Mick Garris kind of said in a very nice kind of way, like
Yeah, but he
he said, "I'm taking a break." He didn't say no. He just said, "I'm taking a break."
yeah, but it's funny because whenever time I upload the episodes for the interviews, I tag, I have to like number what they all are because Apple likes that. And we've done 29 interviews.
Oh wow, jeez, man, really?
29 interviews.
Holy shit, that's crazy. That's crazy. You
That's
know what, even when I think back on some of the interviews, like the we had the fucking guy, the artist from Goosebumps on.
yeah, dude. We
Oh, dude, what's his name? Tim
Tim Jacobus.
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 That's right. He was a lovely guy as well, wasn't he? Really nice guy. I mean, what a legend. Were you
Oh yeah,
chat?
man.
I was flicking through the episodes the other day, and I was like, "Oh yeah, man, we had Tim Jacobus on." But yeah, there's some people we've been reaching out to, and we're just going to keep the flow going. Won't always be actors or directors or filmmakers or whatever. There's so many other
Yeah.
people in the horror field. Whether you know, like next haunt season, maybe we'll speak to some people that run some screen parks.
Oh yeah, dude.
There's so many different people that are just in the horror community. That's always welcome on to come and chat, just chat horror. And just yeah, that's what we love. Horror is our happy place.
And we thank everybody who takes up their time to come listen to us and support us in any kind of way, whether it's sharing a post, liking a post, listening for like 5 minutes. Everything helps. So yeah, Scare Package 2 coming out December 22nd. This would be out on the Monday, the 19th. So everybody will be listening to a couple days before. If you want to wait for the movie to come out officially, I understand. There's a lot of people who like to wait for the movie to be dropped, but yeah, got the first 10 minutes, or it was like 16 minutes before we really got into spoilers. So yeah, this was a blast, man. And Dean, thank you for being on this journey, and thank you for everybody
No worries.
listening.
I'm gonna,
Aaron, you were a fucking awesome dude for coming on and talking about this, and for
what I'm gonna do
everybody.
right now?
What?
I'm gonna go and watch Scare Package 2 again.
Hell yeah, dude. I think I'm gonna do the same thing. Get some nice hot chocolate. Hell yeah.
Oh, now we're talking. It's so cold here at the minute. I'm wearing
And
two
this
hoodies.
is a comfort film, dude. It's super comfy to
It is a
watch.
comfort film. Do you know what? It is a comfort film, and comfort films are the sort of films you can watch over and over and over and over again.
Yep.
And we need comfort here at the minute because it's fucking been snowing outside. The snow's been settled for about 5 days now, and it's all icy. And my partner fell over and banged her head against a brick wall, so
Yeah.
I have to go and check on her now and just make sure she's still alive. But I'm sitting here. I've got two hoodies on. I look like the abominable snowman, well, the death metal abominable snowman.
Hell
'Cause
yeah,
he's in
man.
the black hoodie. I've got a hot water bottle here. It's cold.
Yeah, it's getting cold here
Actually, it's not
too.
too bad here right now. But yeah, man, we need these comfort movies. Yeah, that's what it's all about this time of year.
Oh yeah.
Um,
But I think that's pretty much all that we have left to say about this film and the future of the show. And just thanking everybody. I know that we've been doing a lot of interviews, and we haven't really been doing a lot of just like chats like this. So it's always good to kind of take a second and just revel in everything that's been going on, and thanking everybody. So everybody listening, watching, past and future and present episodes of anything, I thank you. Thanks you. The world thanks you. And we will definitely be here next week. I don't think we have anything for next week yet, but by the time this comes out, I'm sure we'll have some stuff. But thank you everybody for taking the time, and we will see you next time.
Adios.